everybody, so new review for you guys there to the upcoming Netflix series Shadow and Bone. I've seen so much hype and anticipation for this show finally to debut on Netflix. As someone who's not familiar with the Grishaverse novels, it was really awesome to actually see that kind of hype and buzz surrounding a Netflix show, because you don't really see that all that often. I'm so grateful to Netflix for supplying me with the screeners for this first season of Shadow and Bone, so I can talk with you guys a little bit early. Of course, it's going to be spoiler free, so you don't got to worry about spoilers here. In case you're new to the series like I was, the series centers around a map maker named Alina Starkov as dark forces conspire against her when she unleashes an extraordinary power that could change the fate of her war-torn world. Ever since I started watching Game of Thrones for the first time and reacting to it, I've been really big into the fantasy genre, so jumping right in from that to Shadow and Bone, I also fell in love with this world almost instantaneously. The series does an excellent job engrossing you in this big fantasy universe of Ravka, with its wide variety of elaborate set pieces, costume design, creatures, and the Grisha themselves with their various types of abilities. It's really awesome to actually learn about all that stuff. It gives you exactly what you expect from a fantasy show, the grand spectacle of it all, the wide variety of fun action sequences, and even a little bit of romance, because you gotta spice things up. And the overall story to Shadow and Bone to be very engaging. It kept my interest all throughout all 8 episodes. There are a wide variety of storylines as well, whether it be Alina and her journey to become a Grisha, the Crows on their journey, and then you also have some other side stories as well along the way. None of them really overstay their welcome. They all have a lot of time to breathe and flesh out the characters in them. And that's something I really have to commend the showrunner for, because he did a great job weaving together all of these different characters and storylines, and they all eventually do converge in some shape or form, but I thought it was really great the way that they do end up converging. If you're a fan of the book series, this probably doesn't apply to you because you know the storyline, but I love that there was a lot of mystery and tension surrounding certain characters and their backgrounds, and also the Fold itself. I thought that was a really interesting addition. Each episode, as we get to learn more and more about these characters, I also love to learn more about the origin of the Fold and all the stuff that's in it because of the creepy stuff that we get inside of the Fold. I don't think I would want to cross it, because a lot of characters in this show cross it, and you can definitely see why they're tense when it comes to crossing over into the Fold. I have to really commend the show because, for the most part, the entire cast is relatively new or unknown actors. The only one I knew going into this was actually Ben Barnes. But I really loved the cast that we got. There's a lot of diversity in this cast, which is also a plus. You can really tell that they all gave 100% with their performances, but I think my personal favorite was actually our lead here, Jessie May Lee, who plays Alina Starkov. I think that she has superstar potential. I think this is a really big breakout role for her. I'm really excited to see what she does for the rest of her career, because I thought she did a really great job with the character. She's so easy to latch onto because she's so likable, and you do love seeing her personality shine through more as she embraces her powers once she starts her Grisha training after her discussions with General Kirigan. Now, General Kirigan, he's quite the interesting character as well. Ben Barnes plays him excellently, originally coming off as this dark, mysterious, handsome type, but as the series goes on, we learn more about how manipulative and power-hungry he actually is, but he does have that charm in the very beginning, and then he just loses that luster as the series goes forward. His dynamic with Alina is probably one of the things that kept me invested in the show the most. It has a lot of intrigue behind it. It also has some of the best conflict in the show, especially when Alina's friend Mal starts popping in later episodes. I don't want to touch upon it too much because it'll tread over into spoiler territory, but I do love the bond between Alina and Mal. I think it is one of the big backbones of the themes of this show, actually. I wanted to touch upon them a little bit because I haven't touched upon the Crows that much as well, but Kaz, Jesper, and Inej I thought were awesome. Each of them have completely different personalities separately, but together they make a really great team, and they have some really fun heist-like adventures along the way. I think Jesper was probably my favorite. I think he had the most charisma and the most fun screen time out of the 3. As someone who hasn't read the books these are based on, I think my favorite characters just based on the show itself is Alina and Jesper, but I would love to know what everyone's favorite characters are from the books and even the series if you've read the book that they're based on. If there's any gripes I have with the show, I think there's really only one or two. The one for me, there's a storyline involving a character named Nina. I really felt like that was probably the weakest storyline out of the bunch that we got. It felt like it was very disconnected with a lot of the other storylines, and each time we cut to it, I really didn't really care about it all that much, if I'm being honest. I tried to get invested in the storyline, but I really wanted to get to the main ones of Alina, the Crows, and all that stuff. This isn't really a gripe for me, but this is a fantasy series that doesn't hold your hand at all, so casual audience goers may be a little bit weary jumping into this show, and I can see why, because a lot of the storyline doesn't really kick into overdrive until maybe 2 episodes in. But if you give it a chance, I do think the story really picks up in episodes 3 and 4, and the last 3 episodes, 6, 7, and 8, I think are some of the best fantasy television I've seen in a very long time. It's really exciting, especially as the mystery is unwoven in the final episodes. With where we leave off with our characters at the end of the last episode, I really am excited to see a potential season 2, because I think this has a really great cliffhanger style ending that I want to see explored more in a potential season 2. I know that we got season 1, of course, but I don't know if we're going to get a season 2. I don't know if it's confirmed yet or not. I'm hoping that when the series comes out, we're getting a confirmation that we'll get a season 2 of this, because I know there's a lot more explored in the Grishaverse than just this book/series. Those have just been my thoughts on Shadow and Bone. It hits Netflix this Friday. I really love to talk about the show with you guys when it does drop. Leave all your thoughts down below when you do check it out, whether you liked it, disliked it. If you're a fan of the book series, I'd love to know your thoughts about it, especially whether you think it holds up to the books very well or not. Either way, leave your comments down below because I look at all things movies and TV on the channel. Thank you as always for checking my reviews though. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you like it, the subscribe button, and we'll keep doing movie reactions, unboxings, and more on the channel. But next time, I'll see you guys later.